want to bring on our next two guests here. We've got Gabby Stout, who's a high school student, as well as Tyson Langhofer, who's a senior counselor with Alliance Defending Freedom, the good people over at Alliance Defending Freedom. And this is an incredible story because, well, I'm going to have them tell the story, actually. So, Gabby and Tyson, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, honored to have you both. Gabby, why don't we start with you? Just tell us what you tried to do to honor Charlie, and then tell us what happened next.
Yes, so I painted the spirit rock at my high school, which is a large rock that you can paint to express your opinions and beliefs. And I painted the rock to honor and memorialize Charlie Kirk's life, as well as to honor God. On the rock, I painted a heart, an American flag, Freedom 1776, and Live Like Kirk, John 11:25. I painted these things because Charlie Kirk loved our country and he wanted our generation to also be proud of our country. I painted Live Like Kirk, John 11:25 because I wanted to give people hope that life doesn't end after death and that Charlie Kirk is living eternally in heaven, which is why I wrote John 11:25, which says, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall live." Only hours after painting, my rock was covered up by the school, and I was accused by the school as committing a crime and that I vandalized the rock, even though I had permission from the school.
Wow.
The education system strikes again.
Yeah. Where can you tell me where your school is located?
Yes, my school is located in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Unbelievable. So Tyson Langhofer, you're senior counsel with Alliance Defending Freedom. How did you guys hear about this incident, and why did you choose to get involved? Do we have Tyson? He might be frozen. Yeah, he froze. Studio, why don't we work on getting... Oh, Tyson, do we have you back?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. So I was asking, how did you hear about this incident, and why did Alliance Defending Freedom choose to get involved?
Well, because, high school students should be encouraged to share their beliefs and opinions on really important topics, but they shouldn't be censored by government officials who disagree with their opinions. And the school here has created an opportunity on their Spirit Rock for students to share their beliefs, yet they didn't like what Gabby had to say. And so because of that, they not only censored her by painting over the rock, but they then sent out an email to the entire school community accusing her of vandalism and saying that they have started a criminal investigation. The next day at school, they called her into the principal's office and they demanded that she write out a statement without reading her rights or telling her she's under criminal investigation, telling her that she has the right to an attorney or telling her she has the right to remain silent. That's a problem, right? Because the school officials have created this forum, yet they're saying, because you share this opinion, we're not going to let you participate in that forum. That's a violation of the First Amendment. It should never happen in America, and we want to hold these school officials accountable for doing that.
I don't understand how this becomes a criminal investigation. Has that been ceased? Have they stopped that? Because that's patently insane.
So after they interviewed Gabby and verified, yes, that she did have permission, eventually they silently closed the investigation and said, well, she didn't do anything wrong. Yet the problem is this had gone out to the entire Charlotte community. It was on the news that she had been accused of vandalism and that they were having a criminal investigation. And instead of clearing her name, they just silently closed it and acted as if nothing happened. But it's not nothing when the government actually puts their foot on the scale and silences a high school student who simply wants to express her opinion and treats her like a criminal simply for expressing her views. That should never happen in America at a public school.
Of course. So, Gabby, what did it feel like when you just expressed your admiration for Charlie? You took part in, seems like a civic ritual at the school. You expressed your pride. It was a traumatizing event, I know, for high schoolers all across the country. And then you get treated like a criminal. Tell us personally, what did that feel like? What was that experience like for you and your family?
I was extremely intimidated I don't get in trouble often at school. And so I was very scared that I could be getting in trouble for sharing my views and my beliefs. And this has never happened to any other student for such causes. And so my family and I was very scared to go to school the next day. And my parents were scared to send me as well, as I had no idea if I could go to jail or what would be waiting for me as I got to school.
I mean, I just find this so unbelievable. You're obviously a very bright student. You're obviously well-intentioned. You are the exact kind of student that we should be hoping is the product of our school system. And yet you are getting targeted and called out and singled out for doing something beautiful to honor Charlie. I just have to wonder, and maybe I'll throw this to you, Tyson, because I don't want to get Gabby in any more hot water here. I have to wonder, are there examples on this Spirit Rock that, maybe celebrated LGBTQ? Are there examples of, things that maybe conservatives wouldn't find so appealing? And were there any consequences for those demonstrations?
Rainbow rocks.
So several years ago, during the BLM movement, there were BLM, there were paintings of expressing support for BLM, and in fact, some other students, ended up painting other messages on that, and the school officials, stepped in and actually, supported the supporters of BLM and encouraged them to go back and repaint that over. So obviously, they allow political messages, and they allow messages that are on important topics of the day, and they actually are weighing in, putting their foot on the scale for certain views and trying to stamp out other views. And that's the exact opposite message that we want our government officials sending to the next generation. We want them to understand that the government allows all viewpoints, that they can't censor certain viewpoints. But in fact, after Gabby did this, they changed the policy. They now have a policy that says no religious or political messages, right? And we know who gets to determine what's religious and what's political. It's these same school officials who've already shown that they have a bias against people like Gabby, who just want to share their support for Charlie Kirk and their support for Christian values.
Yeah, I find that really appalling, actually, that their reaction to this would be to say no religious or political, Spirit Rock demonstrations. I find that appalling because, especially in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm going to wager a guess here that would say that most people are Christians. Most people worship Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior in this part of the country, and that is a very key part of their personality, of what makes them have spirit in the first place. I find that actually a really appalling thing. And to your point, who's going to determine what's acceptable on that rock? What are the rules? This is why censorship is a terrible thing in the first place. But I don't want to get bogged down on the negative here. I'm so glad Alliance Defending Freedom has stepped in. So thank you, Tyson, and thank you to ADF for being a voice of common sense and having Gabby's back. We have your back, Gabby. I'm told, Gabby, that you are considering starting a Turning Point chapter in the future. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you do, we will 100% have your back on that as well. Gabby, the floor is yours here. We got about 3 minutes left in the segment. Tell us what it was about Charlie that so moved you. Tell us what he meant to you, and your friends.
I enjoyed watching Charlie Kirk. I've watched him for many years, and I admired him as he went across campuses speaking to students, even people he didn't agree with, just having conversations with them. And I was absolutely distraught when he died, as I have never seen someone assassinated on social media because of their faith. And he was trying to teach people truth, which is the Bible, and he wanted people to be able to stand up and defend their faith.
Yeah, really well said. Tyson, final question to you. What do you hope comes out of this? What does victory look like here in this Charlotte school?
Well, we want them to change their policy. We want them to have a policy which allows all viewpoints. And we also want to hold them accountable for silencing Gabby because of her viewpoint. They need to understand, government officials need to understand there are consequences for violating our most deeply cherished rights, such as the freedom of speech and free exercise of our religious beliefs. And then I hope I hope Gabby's courage inspires students across the country to wade in, to engage in discussions on important topics, and to do it in a way that Charlie did, with grace and winsomeness, and doing it in a way that encourages people to engage with people across the aisle.
Yeah, well said. I'm so proud of you guys, honestly, for standing up for what you know is clearly right. Gabby, you have been egregiously wronged. Charlie, the legacy of Charlie Kirk has been egregiously maligned, and unnecessarily so. What you wrote was beautiful, and thank you for doing that. And I just want to say that, thank you to your parents who raised you, to the community that brought you up and instilled those values in you. And God bless what you wrote. Freedom 1776, live like Kirk, John 11:25. That is exactly what a spirit rock.
It's not
should
a mostly
have on it.
peaceful rock. Like
That is,
the BLM
yeah.
rocks.
You did everything right, Gabby, and we bless you for that. We say God bless you. Please let us know. I know our team. Obviously, we got in touch for this interview. But if you want to start a Turning Point chapter, we will work extraordinarily hard to help you make that a phenomenal chapter. So let us know if you choose to do that. God bless you guys. Tyson, thank you, and God bless the ADF as well for stepping in.
Thank you so much.